What table are you? Okay. You too. I'm on the board and I'm a member of the Be the Key Society. Okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Please, everyone, start taking your seats. The presentation will begin in 5 minutes. If you could please start taking your seats. Please start migrating towards your seats. If you could please take your seats, the presentation will be. Good morning, everyone. If you could, as you take your seats, please silence your cell phones at this time. If you could, please silence your cell phones at this time. Welcome to the inaugural Turning Points Be the Key breakfast. I'm Michelle Grimsley, and I am thrilled to be your MC this morning. My commitment and dedication to Turning Points is very dear to my heart. I am a proud Be the Key Society member, Turning Points board member, volunteer, and passionate community advocate. After learning some startling facts about how close most of us are to the possibility of experiencing homelessness, I had to do something to be part of the solution. In Manatee County, a large part of that solution is Turning Points. About 5 years ago, I was introduced to Turning Points by Sandy Kirkpatrick. The first event that I participated in was Walk a Mile in Their Shoes. It highlighted the issue of children experiencing homelessness. At that time, I was working at Manatee Elementary School. The thought that those sweet little faces that I saw every day could have been experiencing homelessness stung me to my core. As I learned more about the organization and toured the facility, the drive and passion that I had to want to help only increased. Every single time I read a report about our accomplishments or walk through the front door and see our staff and our volunteers serving and assisting our clients, I am truly inspired. In Florida, 58% of persons experiencing homelessness are youth. 40% of persons experiencing homelessness are veterans. And only 30% of affordable housing is available to people with extremely low income. These are only a few of the reasons that I am committed to the mission and vision of this amazing organization. It is my honor to recognize some very important people that made this morning possible. Thank you to our table captains. Thank you for inviting all these wonderful people to learn more about our work and mission to prevent and reduce homelessness in Manatee County. Thank you to our partners who have already pledged their 5-year support as inaugural Be the Key Society members. We have 45 amazing individuals and couples who believe in the work that we do and want to keep Turning Points sustainable. Be the Key Society members, please stand. Thank you to the many elected officials and official representatives here this morning. We value and are so grateful for the support of these trusted community officials. If you could all please stand to be recognized at this time. And a very important thank you to Aetna Medicare Solutions for generously sponsoring this year's Be the Key breakfast. This sponsorship allows every dollar raised today to go towards Turning Point's programs and operating support. Not only are they sponsoring this event today, they partner with us and are at our campus every day of the week, assisting and educating our clients on their healthcare options. The partnership, community engagement, and friendships we have developed are bonds that we share and will always treasure. Thank you. On behalf of the Turning Points Board of Directors, staff, volunteers, and clients, thank you for sharing your morning with us. Our program is filled with bravery, courage, hope, and we are grateful for our special guests who have graciously offered to share their journey and Turning Point story with you. Please now turn your attention to the screens for a mission video, and then we will have time to eat breakfast and socialize.
For 25 years, Turning Points in Bradenton has helped those who've fallen on hard times get back on their feet through the various services they provide.
It's just brutal. I mean, it's hard to describe the homeless experience, but you're so busy looking for a bathroom. You're so terrified of being trespassed. Things happen when you're homeless that are just unbelievable. But you keep fighting. But the people here were amazing. And if you keep trying, this place is always here for you.
Super Bowl Sunday of 2010, I found out I was pregnant. And I'm like, okay, now we're in this tent. I'm out in the woods. I said, we really got to do something now. And when I came here, I got so much love, so much respect. I was able to take a shower and I got my clothes washed. I was able to feel good about myself. And everybody backed me up here. It was so awesome. I was like, wow, these people really care. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And so I actually wound up getting my first job. I was very excited, and with the help from everybody here, gave me the confidence I needed to do that. I just want to thank Turning Points so much for everything that you have done for my family.
They've helped with back bills so I could get my utilities turned on, my water and electricity. They helped with daycare funding so that I could continue to send my kids to daycare. Rent, which is they've helped me stay afloat as long as I have. And they've been helping me look for a job as well. Christmas, food, clothing, a bicycle, bus passes, my birth certificate, my ID. The list is so long. There's all kinds of things. And I would be lost if it wasn't for them.
I was going down and I was not able to regroup and pull myself back out without help. And the doctors and physicians that were here were amazing, and they were kind, and they didn't judge me by how I looked or what I was wearing. I actually got a job, but I didn't have clothing to even wear to it. I came here the day before I was going to start my new job, and they took me to a closet and said, pick out what you need. And it was like an amazing step in the right direction. And now I have to say goodbye and start the next phase of my life. And I owe so much to this facility.
On December 3rd, 2020, that's when we lost our house due to the gas leak. When I first heard about Turning Point, I didn't really know what to expect. The whole staff was always very welcoming. They never really judged anybody for where they come from, what kind of issues they were having. So they helped us pay for at least, I think, 2 or 3 months or so of hotels that we had to bounce back from. They were just very, very generous in helping us. Michelle was the one that helped us get to the apartment that we are at now. I was super relieved from that. We had, the necessities that we needed to be living in there. And that was a huge help.
I'm just so thankful because when I got these job offerings, after so many times putting job offerings, nobody would call me. And I came here and it was a blessing in disguise. And I reached my break point at my turning point, and with the ballet shoes, when you have to stand on those shoes, it hurts, but you work your way up to it. Well, Turning Point helped me work my way to that pain. And now I can stand. I learned to stand. And I'm going to continue to stand and walk. I don't walk alone no more because I reached that breaking point. And now I know I have support.
Socialize for about 10 minutes. Hello again. Hello again. If I can have your attention. May I please have your attention? We will continue on with our program this morning. While you continue with your breakfast, please turn your attention to the screens. I don't think it's fair to make me come back up here after these videos. I tear up every single time, no matter how many times I watch them. But next, it is my honor and my pleasure to welcome our Turning Points Executive Director, Kathleen Kramer.
A single phone call changed my life. Before the phone rang, I was enjoying a happy childhood as a family of 4. My sister and I didn't have to worry about much. We were comfortable. We were happy kids. When my dad answered that call, he learned that his ex-wife had died suddenly in a car accident. The next day, we brought home 3 shell-shocked little kids. Everything changed. We barely made ends meet for the next 10 years. My parents were constantly overwhelmed. My mom was an emotional roller coaster and suffered from depression. We barely saw our dad for years because he worked all the time. We all felt invisible, and we sought out attention in different ways. My sisters battled their demons with food, while my brothers turned to violence and to drugs. I didn't lash out, and I was terrified of drugs. I just wanted to help. Animals, people, anyone who felt invisible like me. I was called to a lifetime of service that actually began in elementary school, and I have had an incredible 20-year career in the nonprofit sector. 18 months ago, I found a new home at Turning Points. Yes, right in the heart of a global pandemic. With COVID, there was no rule book whatsoever. We had no idea what we were getting into. No one did. Would it have been easier to just shut down services at Turning Points? Absolutely. Was that ever an option? Not on my watch. COVID definitely challenged us, pushed us out of our comfort zone, but we saw our team rise to new levels: service, kindness, and leadership. And I'm proud to say, we didn't shut down our campus for even one day. We innovated. We improved program design and delivery for maximum benefit to our families. We collaborated more than we ever had before. We focused on removing barriers and working smarter and more efficiently. In the past 12 months, our case managers took an unprecedented 4,244 applications for housing and utility assistance. This is 31% increase over the year before. 685 households received support, 929 adults. People like Keith, a veteran who had been homeless for over 20 years. Danae, who fled a domestic violence situation when her husband started to turn his anger on their children. 976 children found security in a home because of the assistance their families received at Turning Points. Shut down housing services? Not on my watch. Our Day Resource Center also rose to the challenge. Despite all of the chaos around us, our amazing Day Resource Center staff and volunteers got creative and developed more efficient ways to do our work with half the volunteers. And that's no small feat, because before COVID, we had 160 volunteers a month in the Day Resource Center. So with 3 staff and half the volunteers, we serve 3,283 people with over 123,000 services. Our Day Resource Center is this incredible hub of activity, and it's truly hard to describe unless you've seen it in action. I will try. On an average day in the DRC, we provide 33 hot showers, 21 hygiene kits, 131 people use our restrooms, 67 people pick up mail, 5 individuals become new clients, 4 bike requests are fulfilled, 32 individuals use the computer lab, and 14 of those are getting one-on-one assistance to fill out a housing application online. 22 people receive one-on-one assistance for food stamps, 19 people get clothing, 14 people turn in or pick up laundry, 6 people receive job coaching, 9 people use the telephone. Whew, that's all in one day. And that is not all of the services that we provide in the Day Resource Center. Let COVID shut all that down? Not on my watch. Our free dental and medical clinic continued to do incredible work through a difficult year, providing outstanding care for 1,394 patients. This year, we added a community outreach position to help spread the word community-wide about the free medical and dental services offered at Turning Points, and to educate that those services are not just for those experiencing homelessness. We do not want our free clinic to be the best kept secret in Manatee County anymore. Not on my watch. I'm truly inspired by the work we do every day at Turning Points. Sometimes it's actually monumental, like housing somebody who's been experiencing homelessness, keeping a family from being evicted, diagnosing a serious illness with enough time for that person to still get treatment. These incredible things truly happen every day at Turning Points. But we also give dignity through hot showers, clean clothes, and a listening ear. We listen, we treat people who may feel invisible with dignity and respect. We provide hope and love. And while those things may not seem monumental, when you're hurting inside, when you're ready to give up, they are. COVID was not our only challenge to overcome this year. For over a decade, Turning Points has welcomed medical and pharmacy students on our campus from Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine. LeCon generously has provided supervising faculty for both programs 5 days a week. As of this year, they were no longer able to provide a supervising pharmacist. Fortunately, Turning Point's leadership has reserved funds for emergency situations like this. And we were able to staff a pharmacist, but only 1 day a week, to be able to keep open the pharmacy. When fully staffed, our pharmacy facilitates $1.7 million in free prescriptions annually for people who otherwise could not afford this critical medication. It's a vital service. Permanent funding has to be found, or it could have life-threatening consequences. Another incredible partner had a shift in funding this year. Turning Points would not be where we are today without the support and partnership of Manatee County government. For many years, the county has generously funded Turning Points programs, including our Day Resource Center. And with the recent change in funding, Turning Points will still receive the same amount of overall funding, but just less for the Day Resource Center. And that leaves a serious shortage. We're the sole provider of these critical services that we do, that list that I gave you. If we cannot find long-term funding, it will definitely have a serious impact on our clients and our community. Am I concerned about these challenges? Yes. Is it possible that we could have to make some hard decisions? Yes. But I am infinitely hopeful because I have a front row seat to all the goodness that exists in our community because of you and all of our incredible partners at Turning Points. So I hope you will join me today in saying not on our watch. Thank you.
Not on our watch. Next, you're going to hear from a brave and inspirational woman. She's stepping out of her comfort zone to share her story with us this morning. So please show her some love with a very warm welcome to our Turning Points client and friend, Cherie.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. I really was not expecting. I'm totally in unfamiliar territory because I think they didn't tell me about this whole situation because they knew I wouldn't show. I have not spoken to more than 50 people at one time in my whole life. But I owe to tell my story because my story is compelling. I was one of the first people in 2009 to be able to become part of One Stop / Turning Points. I was a housewife in Sarasota, 21 years. Daughter graduated from Lakewood Ranch High School, had my own business. Life was good, except I was in an abusive marriage. I stayed for 17 years, started cleaning houses and doing yard work to make a plan to leave. hid it from my family, hid it from my friends, my peers, embarrassed that I didn't have a way to take care of myself and leave the situation. It was easier to stay. Once my children got old enough and I couldn't take it anymore, I made a plan. And when I was doing that plan, I'm doing physical work at an age I shouldn't have been doing. I had an injury. I was doing somebody's yard. I'm working under the table, mind you, not doing this. I'm, cleaning for friends and people who trusted me and respected me. But I didn't get a paycheck to say. I fell into, after leaving my ex-husband, I lost my insurance. I lost my major income. And when I hurt myself, I had nowhere to turn to. I ended up with my, at that time, 74-year-old mother moving in. And she took me in to help me try to get my life back on track. When I couldn't work anymore because of my injury, she read the paper every day, Sarasota paper, and she runs across this ad and says, "Here, I want you to go to this place. It's called One Stop. It means one-stop shopping. Under one roof, you can get every resource that is available to you, and you need it." And I put my pride in my pocket, got my documentation. As long as you fill the criteria that you need to meet to become a patient or beneficiary of the resources available to you. And it is the most respectful, clean, nicely run facility. And I watched it 12 years ago when I started. What it has become due to the people that surrounded One Stop. The first director, her name was Jill, and Dr. Cirillo was the first medical director. So one was director of services, the other was the medical director. They surrounded themselves with wonderful physicians from Sarasota, Venice, Manatee, that donated their time that I would have never had. I had no insurance, no way to go anywhere. The hospital, it just wasn't an option. When you lead into unhealthy lifestyles, you pick up unhealthy habits, you hang with the wrong people. I dug myself into a hole that I couldn't get out of. And without my mother taking me in and cutting out this ad about One Stop, and I go and fill out the paperwork, all of a sudden, I saw light at the end of the tunnel, and it did not happen overnight. It took me years to pull myself back up from here to treading water to becoming the woman that I was meant to be after 12 years of their help. There was one doctor that I was there his very first day. He was the pharmacist that was hired to incorporate medical services with helping people get prescriptions. And this man, Dr. Vasquez, he is like Hugh Laurie, the House. You turn on the show House, this man was House. There was always he created this incredible internship program for our medical students, our local medical students that come from Tampa to come work under this man who incorporated pharmaceutical companies to start donating medicine, to help the pharmacists learn how to become pharmacists, third, fourth year medical students. I watched this place grow from a small free clinic to a wonderful, amazing never made me feel uncomfortable. If you don't, it's a no tolerance place. You show respect, you get respect. You fit the criteria, you get the services. Once you decide that you want to turning points, you take responsibility for trying to turn your life around. This resource center has every ability to help you do it. And they make individuals in, I think God was never homeless, but very close to it. I almost didn't make it through a lot of medical issues that this place, Turning Points, and the doctors and my nurse practitioner, and when I was in pain and couldn't, they don't give you pills here. This is not a free, hey, I'm in pain. They have a Dr. Miller that was pain management through acupuncture and Eastern medicine who changed my life, who gave me the ability to heal without an orthopedic because we didn't have an orthopedic partner at the time. If somebody was in an abusive situation and got their arm broken, somebody broke their foot riding their bicycle, they had nowhere to send anybody. All of us, I ended up in that waiting room ready to check out and in tears because they just said, Cherie, you hurt yourself. You're working under the table doing landscaping. You're almost 60 years old. What are you thinking? That day, I had to quit my job and they had nowhere to send me to get help. I went to go check out in tears going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have an injury. I have a serious injury and I need an ortho and I have no money and no way, nothing. And I'm crying in the waiting room. And this doctor came over to me and sat next to me and he changed my life, along with Dr. Vasquez, who created the ability to, I tried quitting smoking 3 times. They do stop smoking classes, they'll offer you patches. The last day that Dr. Vasquez was at One Stop, I saw him his first day, and 10 years later, he had me come in on my last day. His present to me, he said, are you ready? I said, yes, I'm ready. He got Pfizer to sponsor me for a year for very expensive medication, Chantix. I have been smoke-free now for 1 year. It's those kind of things that I finally got my confidence back. I can work. I'm not in pain. I am smoke-free. I'm on my way. Unfortunately, I now have had the help from Turning Points to qualify me for Medicaid. In 3 years, I go to Medicare. And after you have insurance, you can no longer be a patient there. Bittersweet because they are my friends, my family, and now I have to say goodbye. Thank you. Support this. We need it. Every county needs a facility like this, and it keeps Manatee County in a much better place when they take care of the people who can't take care of themselves. And if you put the effort towards it, I am the success story. I feel better and I'm a better woman. And now I'm a senior citizen, got to find myself again. Thank you all.
Tears are flowing all morning long. Thank you, Cherie. We had a change in our presentation lineup this morning. Karina and Adrian Lopez are planning to join us and share their story in person with you all. However, it was just too painful for them. They asked that we share their video instead. While we are waiting for the video, I just would like for you all to join me in celebrating a special man that's here with us. And because of him, we are able to do a lot of what we do. And his name is on our building, Mr. Senate President Bill Galvano. And I know I only gave you 10 minutes for breakfast, so now I'll give you 2 more until the video comes on.
On December 3rd, 2020, that's when we lost our house due to the gas leak. In the morning, I had gone for work, so my family was stuck inside the house and they smelled gas. When my brother and my dad entered, that's when it caused the explosion. From then on, like, they ran out. My mom told me everything that was happening, that she saw them burned everywhere. And she was crying and screaming for help, and they didn't help them. So they had to go get help themselves to the ambulance. Then after I got a call and my mom finally told me everything that happened, I couldn't believe it. Like, I just couldn't imagine something like that would happen to us.
I spent almost 2 months in the hospital. I couldn't see anybody, so what's happening with the rest of my life? My son was at the hospital with me, but I never saw him in there. We were in separate rooms. The last time that I saw him is when we were at the house when the accident happened. That was my last time that I saw my son. After that, I saw him when he died in the other hospital. We remember him all the time. So, and I miss him.
Yeah, my brother was such a great person. Like, he was always super motivated. He knew what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to provide us with like a home and help me with school, even everything. Like, we were just all connected, and he was a big part of that, and we miss him a lot. And I just can't believe he's gone.
I was working in a restaurant, so I'm not able to work over there because it's really hot and it's not good for my skin. So I probably am gonna try to find another kind of job.
I was so lost, and I felt like my family needed me to be the one to help, guide them. We didn't know really where to go or what to do in that point. We were just very lost because we had lost everything, and that's something that's never happened to us. So we were homeless. At that point, I didn't know what to do. We didn't have any resources that we knew of. So I was really just trying to see if anybody could help, and Turning Points came up. And from there, we got the aid that we were able to get. When I first heard about Turning Points, I didn't really know like what to expect. So when I came in, I was a little bit scared. I'm not gonna lie, just because I see a lot of like homeless people. But I like that there was so many people willing to help them out. So everyone, the whole staff was always very welcoming. They never really judged anybody for like where they come from, what kind of issues they were having. They were always just welcoming. I believe I met with Andy first at Turning Points. He told us all the resources that we could have. He gave us like lots of papers. So they helped us pay for at least, I think, like 2 or 3 months or so of hotels that we had to like bounce back from. They were just very, very generous in helping us, provide that with us. And they made like sure that we were comfortable there as well. Michelle was the one that helped us get to the apartment that we are at now. I was super relieved from that. Like, we had, the necessities that we needed to be living in there. My dad could recover where he was comfortable, and that was a huge help. To let people know there's people out there that can help you with anything that you're going through, that you're not alone. And we just want to give that help back as well. Like, we received all of that, and we would like to give it back just the same way. I would like to give a big thanks to Turning Points. So they felt like they were kind of part of my family too, helping us through getting our new home, getting us back on our feet, definitely just turning our life back to normality the most that it can be, and giving our circumstances. They've shown lots of love towards us, messaging us. That just means a lot because that shows that you guys care. It's not just about the one-time thing. It's just we're always going to be in touch.
Wow. Okay, I guess we should all take a deep breath for a minute here. So first, I'm going to give a quick introduction of myself, and then we're going to have the audience participation part, and I'm going to explain to you all how you can help make a difference in the lives of all of our clients. First of all, my name is Rich Visnov, and I've been a volunteer at Turning Points for about a year and a half. Yep, right in the middle of COVID. So the timing when we only had 3 staff, and that's when I decided to join. I did that after retiring from 40 years working at Siemens Energy, where I was actually the vice president of IT. And you might ask, what do I do today? Well, today I work in the bike shop as a mechanic. And what we do, Greg, myself, and some others, we overhaul donated bikes, and we fix the bikes of clients who've already received a bike from us. I was originally attracted to the role because I am a pretty avid cyclist. I used to do a lot of triathlons, and I was pretty good at working on bikes. But I was also looking at in retirement of what I could do to give something back to the community and maybe be able to help people at the individual level that were in need, maybe less fortunate than myself or whatever. I guess you could say I was looking for a purpose. What I didn't realize was how profound that impact would be. And hearing some of the stories today, that just reinforces the experience I've had in the last year and a half. In the bike shop, we actually issue and repair about 700 bikes a year. But these really aren't just bikes for our clients. For these clients, bike is freedom. It's transportation. It's the ability to get to a store, to get to a job interview, to have a way of getting around the community. You know, something that everybody in this room probably takes for granted. There's a lot of different stories I could share, but every single day that I volunteer, and I'm there 2 to 3 days a week, I leave with a feeling of satisfaction and inspiration from the people that we serve. And I should mention, I'm kind of representing the bike shop, which is a very small part of the Day Resource Center. And we all work hand in hand. I have 2 things I wanted to share with you, 2 stories. One was a picture that showed up earlier, just to give you a sense of the impact that we have on people's lives. There was a family of 5 with 3 small children that came here from Denver. They had a tough time in Denver. They had 3 small kids. The oldest was maybe 6. And they found their way to Bradenton looking for a new start. They didn't have a place to live. They were living in the Salvation Army. They came to Turning Points, and the mom and dad were looking for bikes so they could get around. So they came over to the shop, and luckily we happened to have just gotten some bikes in. We had a few that were ready, but was really amazing was we actually had 3 children's bikes, which is pretty rare for our shop. So we were able to not only give the parents, but the kids bikes. And you saw the picture of the 5, the 3 kids and the 2 parents and the smiles on their face. And the joy and the sense of normalcy that they got out of that was just something that, I'll remember that forever. And I'm glad that probably Margie put that picture up there. It's just awesome. The last story I'll tell, because we have to get moving, is something that really touched me personally. Was a young lady had just gotten a job that was actually at Sonny's Barbecue way out on East Manatee Avenue. And from where that is to Turning Points, it's a pretty good ways. She needed a bike for that afternoon. We didn't have much that day, and I got her a bike, but it really wasn't the right one for her. But we had to try to make it work. Right as I was outside fitting the bike for her, a car pulled up with a donation. They opened the back of the car, literally a brand new looking bike. And I looked at her and she looked at me, and her eyes opened wide open and then filled with tears. And I tried not to follow suit, but it was a pretty cool experience. And we got the bike out, got it set up for her, and she went on her way. But what touched me personally about that was 2 days later, Cheryl tracked me down with a little white envelope and handed me the envelope. I opened it up, and here was a thank you note from that same woman thanking me personally for what I did to help her that day. So pretty cool story. So anyway, that's what you get every day at Turning Points. Okay. And that's why I'm there. So today you've heard the full Turning Point story, beginning to end, from what we do. And you met a lot of wonderful people in person and on the video. And now it's my privilege to ask each and every one of you to consider making a financial investment to support our operational needs at Turning Points. Before we hand out the pledge cards, which all the table captains have, I have a couple things I wanted to announce. Two things. You've heard the term a couple times before, the Be the Key Society, like people with the fancy badges. This is something we'll go into more detail, but it's a multi-year giving initiative that for anyone who's willing to pledge $1,000 a year for 5 years, you become Be the Key Society member. And that really helps us at Turning Points so that we don't have to start with a zero budget each year. And it helps tremendously from a budget planning perspective. So I ask you to consider that. The other thing, which is really, really exciting and amazing, is that Jeannie and Chuck Slater, who are here in the room, they have agreed to make a generous matching gift pledge of $25,000. So they want to challenge each of you to be a Be the Key Society member. So they will match the first year pledges of any new Be the Key Society member, up to $25,000. So I want to thank Jeannie and Chuck for that. It's just really awesome. Okay, so now the audience participation part. If everybody the table captains could grab your packets and hand out the pledge cards. Okay. So once everybody has them in their hands, I'll kind of give you a quick run through of the cards. Okay. So I mentioned the Be the Key Society. The first section of that card are 4 different options for joining the Be the Key Society. And there's 4 different giving levels. The first one is called the Gift of Hope, and that is a pledge of $1,000 a year for 5 years, which comes out to about $83 a month. And with your gift, you can open doors for 20 people by making it possible for them to replace a lost birth certificate. Why is that important? Because it's the first step of getting a Florida ID, obtaining food stamps, housing, employment. The second level is called the Gift of Compassion. And that's a pledge of $2,500 a year for 5 years, or $208 a month. And an example of what that level of giving would provide is a new smile for 8 people each year through the Project Smile Denture program. I think you saw a nice picture of that also a few minutes ago. The third level is the Gift of Friendship, and that level is a pledge of $10,000 a year for 5 years. And this would provide an entire year of housing assistance and wraparound services for a family struggling with homelessness. The last level is called the Gift of Love, and that's a pledge of $20,000 each year for 5 years. And that level would allow us to provide 214 individuals with life-saving medications that they need to maintain health and live better lives. So on the next line, for those that may prefer giving at a different level, you can tell us how much you would like to give and for how many years. Or perhaps you want to make a gift of stock or something else, or maybe you even just have a great idea for us that you'd like to share. So you can check that box that says, please contact me, and if you have thoughts to share. So lots of options. Down at the bottom of the form, for those that are already Be the Key Society members, you can consider adding another year to your pledge, or maybe increasing your annual gift amount. So please know that whatever you give today, including the gift of your time, we all at Turning Point sincerely appreciate your effort. And we say that on behalf of all the people that we serve. So now I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to finish filling out the forms. And when you're finished, if you could just fold the forms and hand them back to your table captain. We'll give you a minute or two, and then I'll come back up. Okay, thank you.
I got to bring you to the phone. Wait up.
Okay, if everybody's had a chance to fill out the pledge forms, again, if you could fold them up and give them to your table captains. And again, I would just like to say personally, thank you to everyone for your kindness and support and your generosity and for being here this morning. And now I'm going to turn it over to Michelle, who's going to wrap up the events of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich. Cherie, Karina, and Adrian, you're all so brave for sharing your stories with us. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Turning Point staff, board of directors, volunteers, METV, and table captains for all the time and energy that they gave to make this wonderful event possible. Most importantly, yes, let's give them a hand. But most importantly, I want to thank each and every one of you. Giving is not just about making a gift, it's about making a difference. Thank you for joining this important work that we do each and every day. Have a very wonderful day.